So, in the last video, we left off with the iron legs, which was Rome, and now we're on to the iron and clay feet. So the question is, what is the clay? So we see in Jeremiah 18:2-4 that clay represents the house of Israel, God's people, the church. Now this clay that is spoken about in Daniel 2 is not clean clay, for it refers to it as miry clay, because it represents apostate Protestantism. We saw in the previous video that the iron represented Rome, which is state. And in Psalms 2:7-9, we see God speaking to Christ, saying, "Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel." Here we see that God will use state, iron, to destroy apostate Protestantism. Now I want to compare this story of the iron and clay, church and state, with another story in the Bible, found in Revelation 17. Here we find a woman riding on a beast. We see that this woman represents apostate church. For in Jeremiah 3:20 it says, "Surely as a wife treacherously departs from her husband, so have ye treacherously departed from me, O house of Israel, saith the Lord. For the woman that rides on the beast is called the mother of harlots." Who then is the seven-headed beast, which is found in Revelation 13 and Revelation 17? Let's watch an old video that I put together on this beast describing who it is. We understand that the water represents people. And what about the blasphemous heads? There is only one country in which its leader takes the name of God as to himself, so-called Holy Father. The wound? Well, let's let Pope Francis describe what that is.
Queridos hermanos, la desunión es una herida en el cuerpo de la Iglesia de Cristo. Y nosotros no queremos que esa herida permanezca.
It is the ecumenical movement that will heal the wound. The official Vatican website shows Pope Pius XII expressly welcomed the ecumenical movement and paved the way for the council, that is the Second Vatican Council, with a series of groundbreaking encyclicals since the formation of the World Council of Churches. We have seen 7 kings, 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet come, but now he is. The reign of these 7 popes is the time in which the wound of the papacy and her Catholic Church will be healed. And in Revelation 17, we see that Roman state power will destroy apostate Protestantism. These two stories are telling the same story. For in the iron and clay, we see that the clay is church. And in the story of the woman and the beast, the woman represents the church. We see that the beast in the iron and clay represents state. And in the beast and the woman, we see that the beast represents state. We see in both these stories that the state destroys the church. Just as these two prophecies have shown us, church and state will unite, and state will literally betray and kill apostate Christians. So what we're going to do is compare Babylon with what is going to happen in the end with what has happened back in the Jewish nation at Christ's time. So I'm going to be Jerusalem and he's going to be Babylon. So first we see that the Jews were slaughtering God's remnant people, those that were sent unto them, in Matthew 23:37.
In Revelation 17:6 and 18:24, we see how the harlot was drunk with the blood of the saints and the martyrs of Jesus.
And then we also see that this connection between church and state with the Jews joining up with the Romans in the death of Christ, saying to Pilate, "We have no king but Caesar." John 19:15.
And also in Revelation 17, it shows how the church and state is correlated in working together with the woman riding the beast.
And then we see that the Jews are then destroyed by the Roman Empire, Roman nation, in Luke 21:20.
And Revelation 17, 16, and 17, we show that after the beast is done with the harlot, he destroys her and kills her.
So we see that these things that have been are going to come again in these last days. That apostate Christianity is going to kill God's people and persecute them, those that keep the commandments, that have the testimony of Jesus Christ, and they will join up with papal power in doing so, and that will be their destruction, for the Roman power will come against them in the end and destroy them. And that's why the message is, "Come out of her, my people." That's it.
Mm-hmm.